Anybody else? Who's here from outside of California, actually? I'm curious who came all the way. Stand up, tell us who you are and why you're here. And we're going to start in just 1 second.
My name is Bruce Mary, and I graduated here in 1978.
Woo!
So, yeah.
Yeah, 1978.
Wow.
Still alive to tell about it. But,
And looking good, dude.
Looking very good.
Yeah. I was 5 in 1978.
I'm serious.
Yeah.
That's just creepy.
And we look almost the same. That's a weird thing, yeah. Like, that's even worse. I should stop getting in the sun. Wear a hat. So why are you here? What do you want to get out of it?
Well, I've always seen myself as an entrepreneur. I've been an illustrator, I've been a designer, I've been an art director for the last 15 years, a fine artist. But I've always looked at all of us as creative entrepreneurs and looking at different business models. So, I don't know, it's my first time back at Art Center since I graduated. So, it's kind of weird being here, it's exciting, but I'm hoping to meet some neat people to check it out.
Awesome.
And see if any ideas stick and see what's going on, what's interesting, what other people are thinking.
Awesome. Well, thank you for being here and thank you for sharing. Let's give him a hand of applause for sharing. Okay, are you guys ready to have fun? A big hand of applause for fun. We're going to get started.
All right, man.
And one thing I need to get is a marker, Chris, out of this bag right here.
All right.
And then we're going to rock it and roll in. Here we go. We're going to actually use one of you in the audience as an example, and we haven't actually pre-selected somebody, so this is going to be live. Here we go. The Design of Business, Defining Your Business Clients' Needs, and Value You Provide by Chris Do and Jose Caballer. Where are we standing? Are we just going to, oh, that looks kind of cool. The shadows look awesome. Let me move this over here, redecorate the stage. And we need one more chair, potentially for our guinea pig, or we'll use one of these. All right, here we go. So first and foremost, the most important thing is to say thank you to this lovely institution that we're sitting here today. Chris and I are both graduates. My name is Jose Caballer. That's the Spanish pronunciation. For those of you who do not speak Spanish, Jose Caballer. So, all right, thank you. Chris, who are you?
I'm Chris Do, and
You graduated from Art Center?
I graduated from Art Center at December in 1995.
95. In 1996, when I graduated, Chris actually got me the first job out of school on Sunday. I graduated Saturday, and hand of applause for Chris getting me a job. It was awful.
That was not my fault.
No, yes, it was. So both of us were born here. We were both lab assistants in the lab, which is somewhere down here. And we kind of crossed paths during the time we were here. You're a little older, so you graduated earlier. But we took very different paths. So the mother, that big orange dot in the back, two samurais divided, early on. I took the digital path and a journey of, is a samurai that funny? Thank you. I appreciate that. Chris, you chose that slide. So the idea being that I really struggled in the digital space because I had to learn by force the business aspects of what my clients did because we were designing software. We weren't designing, a book, or we weren't designing something that was static. It was something that was transactional and interactive. So I really struggled, especially with my own agency, to contain the projects, to define the projects, to get the respect needed from the client versus just getting instructions to here's what you should do. And it was a long, long journey.
I thought your journey, your struggle was some kind of philosophical, spiritual thing, Jose.
Yes, that I couldn't feel, I couldn't be right with the universe when I was creating things for people that I either didn't believe in or that I wasn't involved in the decision making, that I didn't have control. More importantly, people didn't know what they were doing. To this day, a lot of companies don't know what they were doing. So I left the world of agency, of doing the work, to teach it, to say, look, somebody has to teach the world how to do this right. So your journey is different. You were a pain in the ass.
Right. Jose's pointed out that my struggle has been that I'm unemployable.
Unemployable, yes
unemployable.
You are.
I had a job in corporate America working in advertising, and it did not feel fulfilled. I felt disconnected with the company culture there, so I went the opposite way and worked for an independent music label, punk rock label. Super awesome. Did not work out for me.
How many of you are familiar with it? It was
Epitaph.
Epitaph.
Woo! That's right.
Yeah.
And it did not work out for me either. So
wait, you were unemployable at a punk rock label?
I was.
Wow, you are really punk rock.
I quit after working there for a solid 2 months. And the reason being is I wanted to take control of my own destiny. One of the pillars of happiness is perceived control. So I wanted to have that level of autonomy. And so Jose and I kind of started out at the same point. Art Center raised us. We went our own way. And our paths have crossed many times, and now we're kind of back together.
20 years later, the band is back together. All right.
So we're a little behind schedule already, Jose.
Let's go. So school core hashtag. How many of you have Instagram or any digital device on you? So here's the thing. We're not going to have this presentation available. So what? Take notes. Take really good notes. And the best notes on Instagram, Chris and I are going to give half an hour of our time to you as a consultation, whether you're a company or whether
We've never done that before, so we're just offering that to this very special Art Center crowd.
Best notes on Instagram. So you have to put your notes on Instagram.
So hashtag school core, and Jose and I will pick the best notes, and we'll contact you.
So here's a really big question. You know, how many of you here, by a raise of hands, are doing, and you stand over there, Chris. I'm going to stand over here by the computer.
Okay.
So that I can see that. Excellent. Left, right. The right brain, the left brain. How many of you are here are doing exactly what you love? Raise your hand. What you love doing.
Okay, so those people that have your hands up, wait.
Don't put them down.
Keep
them up. Keep them up.
Put them up.
Exactly what you love doing.
You love doing it. How many people are being? How many people think they're being paid what they're worth? Keep your hands up. Okay, a lot of hands. Whoa, hold on. So now we see.
Everybody except one guy.
You're doing well. We'll talk to you later.
Hand of applause for you, man.
No, there's one person in the back, Jose. Who else in the back? Raise your hand again. Where were you?
The one person that's getting paid.
Now the hands
are
retracted.
So we have two people. All right, no, that's not the point. But here's the point. Here's our mission. Here's what we're here to do. We're here to help designers matter for us, to make a greater impact in our practices, your clients' businesses, and to have a voice in the corporate environments that you work. How many of you work in corporations, in a company, a startup, any that you're not your own employer? Great. So to have a voice in those. Here's the agenda for what we're going to cover during today's 1-hour workshop. To move these chairs here at the bottom. We're going to do the intro, which you just went through. We're going to talk about you. That's the most important thing we're going to talk about in a minute. The truth, and then the problem after the truth. The solution to the problem, Q&A, and we really want you guys to ask questions and to engage. This is an interactive session, and at the end, we're going to talk about some actions that you can take to move forward.
Wait. Before you move on, you see that little blue tip? From time to time, we're going to put that up. That's just us getting meta, kind of taking a step back and looking at our own presentation. We're basing the presentation on many templates that are available. So what we want to do is make sure we have a clear agenda for every meeting, right? You want to keep people focused, let them know what they're going to be in store for. Jose?
Yeah, those are the lessons inside the lesson. Pay attention to how we're presenting and to the structure of it, because it is structurally an important thing of the workshop. So let's talk about you. Let's talk about the most important part. And I want you guys to participate. There's lovely young ladies at each end with a microphone or on one end. And we want to know who you are, where you're from, and why are you here? What do you want to get out of the 60 minutes we have together? Very specifically, what is the problem you want to solve? So who wants to volunteer to go first? Some of you might be called to come up on stage and help us with the whole exercise. Young man right here. Why are you here? Your name, where you're from.
My last name.
Stand up, face them.
All my friends call me Wolfie. My last name is Wolford, so I'm Wolfie. And I'm from New Mexico, and I came out to LA to pursue creative living. So yeah, and it's taken a lot of forms. I've done. I work on film sets, doing set.
What do you want to get out of the 1 hour?
What I want to get out of this class is learning some more on structure and hanging out with a friend of mine who I might do some business with as well.
Awesome. So let's talk to your friend. What do you want to get out of it, Eric? Why are you here? To see Wolfie. I get it. Social.
My name is Eric, and I'm from Los Angeles, and I want to learn how to start a business.
Awesome.
Wait, you want to learn what?
How to start a business.
Yeah. Start a business.
How to start a business.
Okay.
Thank you, Eric. That's an awesome one. More people here. Some ladies. Ladies, right here. This young lady in the beautiful scarf right in the middle. This is the most complex place to give microphones, so we use help from the edge to the forward. The more people we get to do this, the better and the faster. We have 5 minutes to do it based on the little clock. Go.
My name is Maggie. I'm from Bakersfield, California. I want to start my own business because I found out 2 years after graduating that there are a lot of drop shadows and bad type in the world, and I want to make something beautiful and meaningful.
You're on a journey against drop shadows. Yes. Okay. Okay, go ahead. Next person. A journey against drop shadows.
Wait. Maggie, what did you study here?
Graphic design.
Thank you.
Hi, my name's Ellen. I graduated in '79 in film, and I've been successful in the film business for 30 some odd years, and now I'm looking to get out. I have an idea for a business, and I'm looking to make it happen.
She's excited that you're getting out of the film business. So you are here to take the red pill. All right. More people. Give me two more. Young lady right here in the middle.
Hello.
Hi. Name, rank, serial number.
I'm Cassie. I'm an illustration student here at Art Center, and I just want to know how businesses work because I want to get what I want.
Bam! She wants to get what she wants. How businesses
that's super
work.
aggressive for an
That's
Asian
super
girl.
aggressive.
Holy cow.
For an Asian? Is that what you just said?
Yes.
Wow.
Cassie,
I
illustration
didn't say it.
student. I can say it. You can't.
Okay.
Illustration student, and what did you want?
She wants to get everything. She wants to
Apparently.
work. Animal style. She wants to know how businesses work. Like the mechanics of how a business works.
That's too abstract.
Super. I know.
That's too abstract. I don't.
Well,
I don't
let's
work well with
clarify.
that.
You're the king of clarification.
Can you clarify, please?
Awesome business that's super successful.
How do you define awesome and super successful?
Is it money? Is it satisfaction?
I can't shut him up. I work with him all day long.
Their satisfaction is fulfilling and makes an impact in the world that kind of impact I want to make.
Oh, you want everything.
So you want the whole full alignment. Yes, you do. I like you. That's awesome. All right. A few more people. Right here. Young man in the corner.
I didn't mention before, but I'm a fine artist and I do well with that. But
Name
I'm also
and where you're from. Name.
Bruce Marion from the Phoenix area, Chandler,
Excellent.
Arizona. So I'm in the process of launching a new business, which is a little different from what I'm doing, but I'm going to also keep doing what I am doing. But I'm going to have both of those.
Awesome. So what can you just? So what do you want to get out of the 60 minutes? Is the question.
Maybe more focus on that. Maybe pick up some tips of something I'm missing in my thinking about the business, how to implement it, the steps it takes to implement it, serving my customer base, how to better do that.
Focus. So you want focus and how to do it. How to do it.
And maybe some people in here might be involved in my business. I don't know. So
to meet great people. That's awesome.
Meet great people.
Let's give a hand of applause to everybody who shared. Chris, do you want to recap those for us? Do we know exactly clearly? Are you comfortable?
We'll
or do you need some more?
later.
We can circle back later on that. All right. So we're understanding what your goals and what your needs are, and we're going to guesstimate that based on those 4 people that shared, a majority of us are looking to do that. How many of you are in the process, have done it, or would like to in the future continue to start businesses on your own? Jesus Christ. There we go. Do I hear an amen? That's a lot of entrepreneurship.
Hold on, Jose. Go back to the other side, please. So there's another tip that you guys see there. He keeps forgetting about it.
I forget about the tips.
But what we do whenever we do a session, if you're going to do a meeting, a conference call, or anything like that, we want to know what people want to get out. So what we don't do is we don't go into a room and have answers ready to go. So this was very helpful, and thanks for participating. So if you define your customer's needs, you're going to create much better, higher fidelity product, creative services.
And to clarify, he's saying that in every meeting, we ask every single person what they want to get out of the time that we have together. And we write it down on a whiteboard. And the job is during the meeting, facilitation of it, is that every person walks out with that answer. And if they didn't, we just wasted an hour. Okay, so here's the truth. This is a big truth. In the 20th century, everything was run by the number crunchers, the MBAs, the spreadsheets.
The left-brain thinkers.
The left-brain thinkers, spreadsheet capitalism, Henry Ford, who was amazing. Everything was about quantification. But the 21st century has a radical change occurring for a lot of reasons. And the keys to the kingdom are changing hands. The future belongs to us. The future belongs to the artists, the inventors, the designers, the big picture thinkers, the storytellers. We will now reap society's richest rewards and share its greatest joys.
You guys feel that?
Amen.
Right.
Do I hear an amen? Yeah. Clap. There is a lot of reasons for that, and some of them are extremely important to the survival of the human race, but we're not going to go into those. So if the future belongs to us, if it's ours, the big question is, how do we claim it? One of the answers is by shifting the role that we play as designers. I recently wrote an op-ed or a rant on LinkedIn that said I am not a graphic designer, where I really talk about the new role of us as designers. Keep in mind, in everything that we say, if you go to Chris's office, where I work, we're still designers. You see us designing, you see the aesthetics being important, you see we have not changed who we are fundamentally, but we're going beyond aesthetics, which what does that mean,
evolving.
Chris?
We're evolving our roles as what we would consider graphic designers.
We're letting go of the artist persona Meaning, what does that mean to you, the artist persona?
Well, I think you and I struggle with this too, right? Even in the office, we debate about this all the time. I think the artist persona to me is this idea that commerce and art can't mix because it destroys the integrity of who we are. Right? So we isolate ourselves, we stay in a room, we work by ourselves. That's how we do it. And so we have to let go of that idea.
And look at the embodiment of business of evil and the embodiment of flakiness right here. You're seeing it. They can coexist and collaborate.
I agree with one of those two descriptions, by the way.
Okay. It's about facilitating change. A lot of people wait for change or to the instructions for change, but it's about self-reliance and being able to be the change you want to create. So the question is why? Why is that? Why do we want that?
Well, for me, like I said before, it's because I have an issue with control. I think I want to do what I want to do and do it my way.
You are stubborn as a mother F. Autonomy. For me, is different. For me, it's about spiritual balance. It's about the ability to be comfortable with what you're doing and who you are in everything you do. A complete alignment, and the young lady right here asked for it, between business and life. There is no separation. If you saw the young lady who presented before the photographer, the tribe was completely, not separate from what they live and who they are. Who the F separated those things in the 20th century, where we show up to work as, hello, hi, I'm Jim, nice to meet you. And then we go home and you're somebody completely different. The lack of authenticity is what I'm really working towards, to fight that. All right, but there's a big one, and this is the evil one. So one of the things is
Don't point at me when you say evil.
This is one of the business things, which is to go up the value chain as a resource, as a designer. Commodification. How many of you know 99 Designs? How many of you sneered when it came out? All of you did.
There's even a site that's worse than that. There's a site called Fiverr where everything is done for $5.
Your logo. So that means that the young lady who said there's a lot of bad design, a lot of drop shadows, you're fighting that, right? This is your path right here. Going from a creative to really being involved in the strategy of your clients. Going from making, Fiverr on doing a logo to really defining the future of your client's business or of your own business in the case scenario.
Wait, go back. I need to jump in there. So right now, the way most businesses are structured, and there are a few exceptions like Apple, Zappos, Whole Foods, where the strategy of the company and how it's run and the creative things that make it tick are integrated, tightly woven together. The creative is the strategy, it is the product. But a lot of companies don't exist like that, and there's this big gap. So from one point of view, we stand as creatives and we think, well, when will the strategist get it and work with us instead of giving us orders to fulfill? Well, you could wait for that, but like I've said before, I have a control issue. I will just move to them now. I want to learn their game, so I have to learn that language of strategic thinking about marketing, about sales, about operations, and all that kind of stuff. So you can come, Moses can come to the mountain, or the mountain can come to Moses, but I'm going to go to the mountain.
Wow, you're getting biblical on this,
Sorry.
man.
I know, it's
I
your
like
persona.
it. I like it. And you were the one doing drugs for the last 2 weeks in the desert. But I don't know. One of the questions, it rubs off really well. But one of the questions that we hear this all the time, but I don't know that business. How many of you don't know your client's businesses and are uncomfortable with that? Okay.
Maybe the setup of the question isn't. So the thing is, when we tell designers, go into the office, meet the owner, the CEO, the VP of something, and have a conversation about how you can help them. Inevitably, things come up that you don't know about, and so that's why I think we kind of go back to our rooms, our studios, and we just focus on what we know about typography, fonts, Photoshop, those kinds of things, right?
And that's for designers, but I think in general for creative people, embracing not having the answers, because you will never have all the answers. You will never have exactly the knowledge that is right for you to start. There's only one place to start, and it is to start. And what's the tip here, Chris? Look, I didn't forget.
Yeah, you could read that.
Use the force. Trust your training, what your strengths are. And Chris and I talk about this when it comes to confidence. He's confident in his skills as a designer. Even if he's walking into the room not knowing enough about the business, he knows that he can back it up. And by the way, that's why those people hired you, brought you in, or are collaborating with you anyway. So the key...
Go back, sorry.
Yeah?
Can you go back? When I meet with my clients, I tell them I want to help facilitate you achieving your goals. I don't know anything about your business, but I'm here to help, and I can help. That's how I do it.
So you have to stop. A lot of us are very jumpy, and we're already jumping into the solution. We have it in our head, oh, I'm going to make your logo this, or we're going to do that, or we're going to do this, we're going to do that. And you have to stop.
Collaborate.
And Yes. Dun, dun, dun,
You're dating
dun,
yourself.
Dun. Everybody
That was a trap.
Dun, dun. Yes. Those are the really key principles to being able to be comfortable with not knowing. Stopping, allowing for the space, collaborating, and listening.
So here's the tip. So when you ask the question, and usually I like to ask open-ended questions. We did it earlier. We asked you guys, what did you want to get out of the next hour? You told us. We didn't ask you the follow-up question, which is, what's getting in the way of you achieving your goal? Control girl, what's getting in the way of your world? Like, how do you achieve all those things?
Control girl? Did you just give her a nickname?
I did.
Yeah. You don't even want to hear the nickname he has for me. So the young lady you're from Bakersfield, right? Tell me your name again. Maggie. What's the biggest obstacle that you have in combating the bad drop shadows, the darkness?
That's a great question.
What is the biggest obstacle?
Yeah, for what you want to do next.
Well, the drop
right
shadows
now?
is a symptom. We haven't really identified the problem yet.
She has two. Go ahead.
Well, there's two parts to that. One of them is within my own company. The obstacle that gets in my way is the creative direction. It conflicts with my own aesthetic.
Gotcha.
But then the other part to that is like, so why don't I quit and leave? Is that I have Art Center student loan bills to pay, and
you got to pay the bills.
Right.
Financial obligations.
So financial obligations, and a limitation on the amount of time that I have to dedicate to
alignment, lack of alignment with your employer, fear of starving. It's
lack
a really
of monetary
important one.
funding.
Yes. Now, I'm not going to share the story because it'll take too long, but that's great. Control, give us your real name because that's rude to call you Control Girl. Cassie, what's your obstacle?
I have her name.
Just one. Or two.
I don't have any.
Damn, she doesn't have any. All right, so we'll move on. Is that serious?
She's a student.
Okay, good.
She's
All
a
right.
student.
Eric, what's the one obstacle that you think would be great to capital, so funding, the financing portion of it. That's perfect. So there's the alignment, money. One more obstacle. Who else shared?
Wolfie.
Earlier? Ignorance of marketing. Knowing how to market your business. Got it. That's a brilliant one. Okay, is that good, Chris?
That's great.
You feel comfortable?
I feel comfortable. Yeah.
Awesome.
Let's do it.
So we just talked about the obstacles, but the stop, collaborate, and listen really sounds too easy, right? But here's why. Here's the problem. And this goes to alignment in Bakersfield. Here's how 20th century companies are structured in-house. Business, tech, design, and sales and marketing are all separate entities. They don't talk to each other. They hand over each other the creative direction. They hand over each other the marketing plan, the business plan. There is no table. There is no co-creation of the vision for the company. That is because the 20th century is built upon a triangular structure. It's built on who we are as humans. Men are as humans because we're wolves. We're in wolf packs. There's an alpha. Everybody else does what? Competes for that alpha. Whoever's the alpha gets all the resources. Does that make sense? The food, procreation, shelter. We are cave people. That's the reason we're structured this way. If you're a solopreneur, if you're a freelancer, your client is way over here. And they kind of hand you the stuff over and you don't meet with them. You're in your studio and you're on the phone and a lot of emails. There isn't any fidelity there either sometimes. You're making shit up, basically.
That's a technical term, Jose.
That's the technical term. Low fidelity because you're just making the shit up. Let me hope. How many of you do a lot of revisions and hate it and underestimate, right? You do it all the time. All right, so here's the solution. Let's talk about that. Look where the design is. Hand of applause for that. So the question is why?
Why, Jose? Oh, you're asking me?
Yeah, I'm asking you. Designers make stuff.
Designers are the ones who actually execute the ideas and the thinking, right? A brilliant marketing strategy can fail if there's not alignment between the strategy and the creative. We make the stuff. That's why we need to be in the center.
You need to be, if you're making something, you need to be in the place where the decisions were made. If you're not today, knock the door down, walk in, and ask for it. If you don't have the balls to do that, then, that's a problem. All right. So for me, it was really about destiny. For me, it's destiny that we, as creatives, we, as big picture thinkers, that we, as far more empathetic people than the people who today control power, have the ability to, or lead the way to redesign ourselves out of pretty much oblivion, which is where we're going really quickly. Wow, that's a real positive note. So how are we going to do this? So how does this work, Chris?
I don't know.
Process template, meaning having a template or a process of some sort. facilitation, which is what we're doing here and what we're showing you how to do with a client or with your team or with the people that you're working with. And strategy gets a bad rap because strategic retreats, if you're in a nonprofit, are awful and none of it gets executed, or people don't follow it. It takes forever. It's really toothy, meaning people talk a lot, and it's really usually poorly moderated and poorly done. So it gets a bad rap. But the reality is that these three overlapping circles are the representation of what you have to do on a consistent, ongoing basis, not only with your business, but with your life, which is one, define who you are, the personal journey. The brand is what we call it in corporate. What is the brand? Second, defining the people around you, your community, your customers. What do they want? What are their goals? What was the first thing we started this damn workshop with? To know who you are. That is the core of it. Jesus said it, pretty well. Wait, did Jesus say it? Who said do unto others? Somebody said it in a good book. The third one is really knowing your goals. What do you want to accomplish? What do you want to get out of it? What are the quantifiable things that you want to accomplish within a timeline? Those three things in a consistent circle of doing it. What happened? Was that a comment or a hiccup? Let's start with the first one. So again, I'm going to recap these. Defining who you are, defining who your customers are, and then defining the goals that you have. So let's start with the first one. Chris, what does brand mean to you?
Well, I think a brand is a overused and misunderstood word. So I'm going to use Marty Neumeyer's description of brand and his definition. A brand is a person's gut feeling about a product, service, or organization. So it's not what you say it is, it's what they say it is.
What other people say it is.
What other people say. So Jose has a brand. He's flaky. He's offensive. He's a lot of different things. He's giving. He's spiritual. He's a hippie and he does drugs. That's his brand.
I
some of it
those
he
last
told us.
two, but yeah, fine. I'll take some of those.
That's the brand.
All right.
Okay.
That's your perception. See, I can't defend that because that's how he sees me. Yeah.
That's the brand.
And you're inflexible, money focused.
Anything else?
Good, nice tie though.
Thanks.
All right, so let's talk about the anatomy of a brand. And we're going to ask somebody to come up here. Can you do me a favor? Can you grab one of these chairs? We're going to do it close to here. And then first we're going to talk about these, and we're going to do this exercise.
First you got to talk about it.
Yeah, so in defining what it is, the is of you putting down in words what your business or your client's business is, the first thing is describing, again, single adjectives, culture. How would your community describe you? Chris just described my culture or described me specifically. The culture is more the totality of it, the derivation, the grouping of who you are. The second one is the customers. How do you describe them? Are they busy? Are they seeking? Are they hungry? If it's a restaurant, are they, overwhelmed? What is it that you can do to describe customers? Health conscious, et cetera. The voice, how you sound. Like Chris said, I'm a loud, obnoxious Puerto Rican guy. That's my voice, right?
My voice is I'm super critical, logical. That's my voice.
Condescending.
Sometimes.
Yeah. So positive. By the way, you have to keep them all positive. So what's a positive for condescending?
Okay.
Critical. Yes, I like critical. So benefits, how you make people feel when you leave. And this could be called feelings. It could be called emotions. It could be called a lot of things. But this is how a customer or person leaves the experience of interacting with you, either as a service provider or as a product. How do they feel? Feel good, feel fulfilled, feel happy, feel joy, feel satisfaction, feel clear, feel empowered. Those are feelings that are subjective as to how the person feels. Value or impact is tangible. They are making more money. They are saving time. They are saving money. They are
more organized.
More organized. They're growing their network. Things that can be quantified and counted. And finally, the X factor, which is part of Chris Doe added this to the process, which is what makes you unique. How are you different from somebody else? So defining those things in a workshop setting, in a moderated session, with your client and with your collaborators and with the people that are working on what you're working on helps build the alignment. So
wait, go back. Sorry.
Yeah.
Defining your brand, if you were to ask a client to define their brand or you tried to do it on your own, it's actually a very difficult task to do. That's why most companies could not tell you what their elevator pitch is. So what we do is we divide it into 6 categories, these buckets, and we ask questions, and we don't weight it too much, like when people don't have to think, like, this is the ultimate statement about who I am. And through this process, with the client, we start to understand and prioritize what sounds the most true to them. And then that's what we use these 6 categories for. That's why we call it the anatomy of a brand. So you can do this for yourself. You can do it for a client.
I've done it for myself. If you guys Google Jose Caballer personal core, you'll actually see this for me. And then the question is that who I was today manifesting in front of you? And you'll see the alignment and the congruence between who I define with the people around me, who I am, and who I am being. So, all right. So volunteers, Eric, come on up. No, you don't want to go? You can do it from there. But you have people around you. All right. Any other volunteers?
Well, who wants to start a company,
Who wants to start a company, a new company?
There. Pick one of those people.
Okay.
There's a lot of people.
Young lady right there. Ellie, come on up. And we're going to do this fast. We're going to do this in 5 minutes.
Did she have a mic? Did she have to come up?
Yeah, sure. You can give her a mic. But do you have people with you, like other people that know you? No, that's okay. Well, we'll get to know you. This is like Knuckles, by the way. Yeah, I did a lot of Knuckles.
Jose, how long do I'm
5 minutes. We're going to do this in 5 minutes. All right,
on.
Ellie, grab a seat here in the center. I'm going to interview you. Imagine you're on Oprah, but with a Puerto Rican guy. So usually we do a lot of them, but you were in the film industry.
I was.
Yes.
I am.
What's your zodiac, by the way, just out of curiosity?
My zodiac?
Totally unrelated.
Pisces.
Pisces. Oh, Jesus. All right. I'm just commenting.
No matter what you say, he's going to say that.
This chair would never pass muster on a film set.
Oh, yeah. It's a little wobbly. So your culture and the people you come from, who you are culturally, how would you describe it in one word? Like just the derivation of where you come from. Creative?
Creative, artistic, global.
Ah, so let's call it global creative. I like that. What business do you want to start now? Let's actually talk about that. What is it that you want to do next?
Thanks, Gautam.
I want to create large tarps that are printed with fantastic photographs.
So you want to? It's that art. You're going to sell large.
Art, more commerce.
It's functional though, right?
To hide buildings, to like green stripe that go on cathedrals when they're rebuilding them.
So basically it's a temporary.
The original idea was to hide my neighbors.
So it's to beautify.
I think it helps. Sorry.
Okay.
That was my intention.
So let's start over.
I think it got bigger.
So your business is really, so let's give it a name. We can call it
Art Tarp.
Art Tarp. Yeah,
Perfect
there you go.
name.
Art Tarp. I like that. And then what you're providing is, can you go to the next slide? Actually, I have the controller.
You have the controller.
What you're providing is actually the service is, would you say beautification or temporary hiding?
I think it could be permanent.
Oh.
It could be.
You really don't like your neighbors. Yeah. Wow. Now I want to meet him.
Hide a construction site. If I'm building a house and I don't want my neighbors to see something nicer than my dust.
Beautify. Let's call it just beautify construction sites.
Okay.
We're going to try it on for size. Yeah, we're going to try it on for size. Beautify. Art Tarp provides beautification of construction sites and other sites, et cetera, et cetera. We can add that later. So who's your customer if we were to describe them? Like who's the person that's actually getting to do this? Is it the foreman? Is it, describe what why do they want to do it?
I think it's a business. And I think it's a business for people who want to maintain good relations with those around them.
Okay, so basically the business to customers in, so basically to, we'll call them construction, we'll call them brand conscious. They're brand conscious. You know why they're brand conscious? Because they want to make sure that it looks good even while it's under construction, right? Mm-hmm. Or visually conscious, let's call it that.
Or maybe it's a parking lot that just wants to present a nicer face.
Yeah, so let's call it brand conscious, just for the sake of argument. To brand conscious customers, so the culture part is, who you were, and you were talking about.
I think it's more environmentally conscious, but you can use.
We can do that too, but to customers and you called it creative. That's your culture in a creative.
It was the film business.
No.
This is creative too.
No, I was talking about me personally.
Yeah, that's her personally. Yeah. Don't correct me, Gautam. Jesus.
He's here to help, man.
I know. You're here to help.
The film industry was not really creative. It was business.
It was business. That is true. So let's call it creative. So in a creative environment, and my writing is beautiful. and the question is your voice. How do you sound to others when you are doing what you do, your business? Is it compassionate? Is it loving? Is it emotional? Is it
inspirational?
Authoritative? Enthusiastic environment and an enthusiastic. Enthusiastic.
Passion works.
Passionate. In a passionate? Is that what you said?
Passionate works.
All right, passionate. Let's do passionate. I love that. Thank you. Passionate.
You would.
Wow, she knows me already. In an environment with a passionate voice, and then the last part is helping them feel. How do they feel?
Like they are putting a much better face on their world for the public.
Helping them feel more beautiful. I'm interpreting there.
Good.
More beautiful.
And they're supporting the arts.
So more beautiful and support the arts. Actually, let's call that as an impact. Support the arts. So let me read this to you back, even though I'm the only one who's going to be able to read it. ArtTarp provides beautification to construction sites and other temporary sites. 2, brand-conscious customers in a creative environment with a passionate voice, helping them feel more beautiful during that temporary time, and in addition to that, able to support the arts. Does that sound like your ArtTarp?
That sounds good.
Wow, let's give it a hand of applause to her new business. That is the foundation and the definition of starting your business. That's just the starting point. And it changes over time. Thank you for volunteering. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right.
Now, Jose's channeling the Holy Spirit when he does this. The way I do it is much more logical and rigid. And it takes, we usually take a lot longer to do this. So you're not going to see the kind of fidelity that you would if you did it in the course of 2 days, 2 5-hour sessions, and that's how we do it.
So here's a real example. Let's show it. Let's just show this in real action with a real client.
Okay, in action. So I have 5 minutes.
Go.
So whenever we do this and we show people, they say, great, there's a lot of words on the screen. I'm a creative person. How do I turn this into something that I can make and how I know how to use, right? So here's a client of mine, and I had barely learned this system with Jose, and I started to apply it, meaning I'm a rookie. I made a lot of mistakes, but you can still see in my lack of understanding how to do it, I can still achieve a pretty good result, and you guys tell me later if that's true or not. Hey, can I have the remote? So here you can see the categories, right? So what we do is we define a bunch of words, adjectives that describe each bucket, and then the clients pick which ones they think is most true to that describes them. And then we
You did this on the phone with them, right?
I did this on the phone. I like to do this in person, but in this case, they're in Canada, and I could not do that.
So let's read the statement. Here's our statement.
So can you read it for me?
Ollie's provides a worry-free fishing experience for adventure seekers in a charming family atmosphere with exclusive access to uncrowded fishing grounds, leaving guests rejuvenated and centered. Damn.
That's them. So we wrote that.
I want to go there. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
So I'm a visual person, so what I did was, if you go back 2 slides here, you can see all the words in yellow. I started to pull them out. I made these little bubbles out of them, and I started to see a connection. The light blue ones, all-inclusive, spacious, upscale, I grouped them together, casual, charming, and old school, and then I came up with this word, right?
So you parse the 2 out, like charming, etc., into rustic, and spaciousness, including boom, into refined rustic.
Right, because this is what makes them different. They're a floating fishing lodge.
Yeah, that's beautiful.
And it costs something like $3,500 to go there for a few days, so it's not cheap. And a lot of people have an impression, if it's a floating lodge, that you're going to be roughing it. This is not roughing it. You get prime rib for dinner.
This is glamping.
Right, but it's not quite 5-star luxury, so I just used the word refined rustic, and this is the thing that I'm using now to inform the design decisions that I'm making.
Are these sophisticated people? Like when it comes to marketing and design?
No, not at all.
Not at all, right?
Not at all.
Okay.
Not at all.
Keep on going.
Okay, so that's their logo today, and that's not their logo, but that's kind of the direction I want to head in, because to me that says it's refined and it's rustic. And so did a quick comp for them, so you can see the evolution of it. And then I do mood boards to kind of help define the creative direction of everything that they do moving forward. So if they're going to take a photograph or they're going to do a newsletter, it should look and feel something like this, where it's warm, it's inviting, it's nostalgic. This is the lodge, by the way.
And you took some of these also.
I took these ones, yeah.
Yeah. They're beautiful.
These photos. And then I put together a palette of things that I feel are that refined rustic, and you're going to hear me say it over and over again, okay?
So now you have an anchor point from a positioning standpoint with them, a narrative anchor.
Right.
Okay.
So it's eclectic, you know, the adventure-seeking lifestyle outfitters. And then I even got into, well, if I could redo their entire operations.
Wait, hold on. But what if I'm not an interior designer? I'm not going to redo their whole interior.
That's okay, because I can hire an interior designer. You know, the objection before that we'd hear from other designers is, I don't do that. I can't get into operations. I don't know marketing. I don't know interior design. That's okay, because I can hire somebody, and then I could mark it up. I can charge.
You would. You totally
a creative
would. Okay.
consultant. I can make money on top of that. I don't need to be the expert of that, right? So I even think about how they serve the food and the feeling of the entire experience from beginning to end, which they're really good at doing. I just want to align it so that it's a truly unique experience. So this is like the ultimate man cave, right? So some expressions there. And then I use those same words, the same buckets, and now I'm looking at designing their website, which is initially what we started talking about, which was we want to update the website. You guys get that often. Most of the times when people say that, they're asking you to reskin it without an understanding of their customers' needs, their positioning, and how to help them achieve their business goals.
They haven't even considered copy. They haven't considered positioning.
Right.
You're about to go into a world of revisions that is going to take you forever, and you're going to go so over budget. And you know what most designers do or developers do? They just stop calling the client back. And then the client's like, they flaked out on me. What happened?
Right.
Keep on going.
So now I'm able to use this to write copy, and I'm not a copywriter, so it's not the best copy, but it tells a story.
I think it's awesome.
And so this is what the site looks like right now. Okay, you can see that it's all over the place. There isn't a cohesive design language. It's almost like I don't know where to look at. There's too many buttons to click on.
It makes them feel small too. It doesn't make them feel sophisticated.
Okay, so this is where the site will be once we're done building it.
Wow.
So now it's like this inviting language. And I'm going to show you a few more here. So on your own, but never alone. That line that I wrote comes from their customers telling me that. I mean, when you're out in the open ocean, it is a scary thing. But the people that go here, they want to be self-directed. And I got that from the customer profiles that we built. So what they do, which is unique to that area, is they send a boat out to check up on you, make sure you have enough bait, fuel, drinks, a sandwich, whatever it is that you need. It's a pretty luxe experience.
Okay.
I'll see you guys there if you guys are interested. Anyway, so this is kind of what it looks like. And then it helps me to generate other ideas about how to capture email addresses and kind of turn something that they put out there for free and give it a whole design language, right? The fishing guide. And then it helps me to write ads. That's my dad, by the way. And then I wrote this line, and it really resonated with them. For a moment, he's a kid again. And if you look at the benefit, you feel recharged, you feel at ease and relaxed and connected.
And you're showing the client the correlation between what they came up with as words. Basically, this is not your design. This is not your suggestion. This is not your, you know how we are very self-centered? By the way, Art Center does a great job at making us self-centered. Cockiest designers I've ever met.
I was going to say, except for me, what are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
What are you talking about?
But the point is that now you're giving it to them as a gift. They are actually the ones driving it, and they feel good that it's their strategy that's being implemented.
The way I look at it is I'm not creating something. I'm just holding up a mirror to what was said and what I heard. That's all. So
you're
I'm going to show you a few more.
You're a medium.
Right? So for the young and young at heart. Grandfather, grandson, jumping generations. And then the culture.
Wait, hold on. You wrote all these?
I did.
Wow.
Well, I either wrote or I stole it. I don't remember. So culture. Pardon me?
Appropriation.
Yeah. I'll tell you which one I stole later. Okay. So the voice is charming. It's a family atmosphere. So I wrote this line. I actually wanted them to produce a video that was exactly like the Cheers main title, except for to use graphics from them, where everybody does know your name, and they love this line. And this to them, and what we talked about is you feel centered. After going out on a trip like this, you leave all the tech behind, all your worries. They take care of everything. All you have to do is show up. They provide you the clothes, the boats, everything is done for you. So this, in this world, this is a board meeting. And this is Facebooking. It's actually real photos and people saying, hey, check that out. That was me last year. And this is what a skyscraper looks like.
By the way, what I just noticed is the tagline, go back, reprioritize. Yeah, it makes you reprioritize your life.
Yeah.
Totally, I love that.
And then reel in and unwind. This is the one I stole C's today. It's a pun. All right, Jose.
All right. Wow. So Chris, the real question is, what is the impact that this has had, not just on your relationship with the client, but on them?
Okay,
tangibly?
great. So what I want to do is not be an expense to them, because they're not just paying me to design. I'm helping them reverse the trend. The seasons are getting shorter. Basically, what's worked for them isn't working anymore. They need to change because their clientele is getting older. I mean, we're about to make a tribute video for all the guests that have passed away. It's very sad, right? So their clientele is literally dying off. So they need to market and open it up to other people. Anybody that's gone there and has experienced this, they come back again and again. There's a father and son group. They've been there 20 years in a row. It's quite amazing. So I want to help them change that. And as a designer, when I present work to them, they're almost speechless. Their feedback to me was, you hit a home run, 100%. And there are multiple people that I'm talking to. When one person brings up an objection, the rest of them just shut them down. It's like, do not change anything. And this is the number one question I get. When Jose and I go out or I'm doing my workshops, everybody always asks the question, how do I convince my clients of my idea? And my feeling is, you've already failed.
If you're asking that question, you failed.
Your art, your aesthetic, your ideas, and designers like to make really beautiful things that are expensive. That's not a solution to their problem. So if you're asking that, it's the wrong thing. I'm just holding up a mirror. Maybe I got it wrong at the beginning, and that's usually where I'll fail. But if it's words from them, and I just wrote them down and helped to kind of filter it, it's going to work. That's the impact.
And that doesn't mean that you aren't necessarily bringing in of yourself and your experience. And here's why.
I'm done playing that a little bit.
But I'm going to tell you why. Because you are the customer. In this case scenario, and who talked about full alignment? And I can only miscontrol.
See? It works.
Full alignment with who you are and your clients. You know, this is almost method acting. He's a customer. The reason why they're a client is because that's where he goes. I have taken the experience where I completely integrate into my customers' products. You know, I helped the guy who did Fat, Sick, and Nearly Dead do the business portion of Reboot, juicing, right? What did I do? What was the first thing I did even before I signed the contract? I rebooted twice and lost like 25 pounds, right? Was the client convinced that I was committed? Yes, they were. And the whole point is immersion.
Hold on. So a couple other things. As soon as I finished the presentation, they asked me, when can we do this? When can we do it? A whole laundry list, going to get a scope of work, an estimate for these 10 things. And I can't keep up with that now. That's a benefit to you as a person who's going to start a business. You go to him, you're going to say something? See? If you don't cut me off, that's what happens.
Damn, snap. So here's a quote. Within this process lies the very essence of how and why some companies, teams, and projects excel and why others don't. This is Jeff Wright, the senior strategist at the Designery in Long Beach.
What he's talking about is when we teach how to do this, this is the reaction that we get.
But actually, more importantly, when you do it for your own business, when you do it for your clients' businesses, that is the reaction you're going to get. And you know what? It is not something foreign. You can talk, you can get up, you can do whiteboard, you can brainstorm. There is no wrong or right. Did you do this right the first time?
No, I already said that.
Yeah, but do we even know? We make it up, we change it as we're going, we just have it as a framework.
You know what I did? I told the clients I've learned something new and I'm integrating into my practice. I want to help you with your brand positioning and strategy. Before, I think really what I was doing was probably saying that, but going in and just doing more graphic design work. So I just told them, this is new to me. I'm doing this for you at no extra cost to you, and I want to do this for you. A lot of times clients will call me and say, I need a video done. I need a website or a new logo. I say, great, let's have a meeting. As soon as we get in the room, they tell me everything they want to do. I need a new logo. I love this. They're giving me orders to take. I said, that's great. Can I take half an hour and talk to you about what your customers' needs are? Because I find that if I understand that, I get better alignment between what you're asking me to do and actually hitting your result or achieving your goals.
So to give you an example again of how our presentation in workshop form we've done already, we help define the brand attributes for your new business, for Art Tarp, which now I clearly understand what it is, and it's actually a pretty interesting and smart business. The customers, we help define who you were and what your goals and your needs are. And Chris, I need you to pull them up to make sure that during the Q&A we're able to actually answer every single one of the people what they want and what they got out of this and what the goals are. What are the objectives in this case scenario for us? And you're going to see those in the action steps at the end, what we want you to do and how we want to continue our relationship. So being present and conscious at every point in time, documented it on paper. There's a great workshop on business planning and how it's not that important, the importance of a business plan later this afternoon, that you can really go to and understand what it is that you have to write down from a business planning standpoint. This process which is an amalgam of user experience for those of you who do it, customer-driven, user experience, brand, the whole idea of brand strategy and brand management, and simple business prioritization and business goals. I didn't invent it. It comes from many places. The first exercise is from when I worked at Racerfish. The second exercise is basic user experience. The third
Let's get to the questions, man. We have 10 minutes.
Q&A, questions.
Q&A.
I'll shut the hell up. That's what he meant, very politely. Any questions about what you just experienced?
So there was one goal here. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
One quick question. I was wondering what the time allotment for that project was and what the budget was.
Oh, the one I was doing?
Always.
Okay, so I did a non-traditional deal with them. I did a cash exchange, and then I also got trips out of it. My goal in life is actually to go there for free.
He has vacation for life.
No, I told him this. I literally told him this. If you find value in what I do, my goal is actually to come there forever until I'm dead. But so I'll continue to do work for you because there's a value.
I'll answer the question though tangibly. In my practice, for the strategy component and the prototyping of what the can be relative to doing this whole process, $50K. For just doing the process strategy by itself, $30.
I'm a little bit more than that, but that's the ballpark.
Yes, we figured that.
Okay, does that help? Yes. Okay. So
and you can charge 10. You can charge. It's relative to your time. So we used to give the strategy away for free.
We used to
within the design.
Can I say something though? My goal, and with Jose, is to do it for companies, small companies, for 2 days worth of work for $10K for both of us. For corporate training, it's $30,000 just to do the thinking training part. Yeah. Just so you have a context right there. Okay. And so I'm working with clients in that capacity. So if you talked about, somebody said, I want to know about different business models, this is moving away from the graphic design stuff that unfortunately to a lot of people who aren't, have the same kind of eye for design is easily replaced. And it gets into commodification. So you know what happens? Lowest bid wins.
So we're getting commodified. We're old guys in the industry. We're now starting to shift models and become more on the strategic end and charge for our knowledge. That's what he just said.
Okay.
Kristen, when you were talking to your clients,
yes. Right.
And then they told you, we don't have the money for what you want to do. Just do what we want you to do. How then does the conversation proceed from there?
Great question. When you do it right, that never happens. I've never had that happen.
Never.
I'll tell you what happens. I met with a broker, and I actually did it like a sales thing to him. I said, you know what? You've been sending me all these emails about properties. I'd like to actually come and talk to you about video. He says, great, come to my office. So he said, I looked at your site. I wanted you to do all these things. I did the exact same thing. I sat down, and we started to figure out he closes about 70% of his business. So I focused on the 30% that he's not closing. And for him, he sells homes in the $3 to $5 million range. So for commission for a broker, you guys do the math. It's like 3.5%. For a $5 million piece of property, whatever I charge is going to be nothing compared to him just closing one new client and capturing the 30%. Yeah. I focus on how to help businesses grow. And when you do that, their eyes light up.
So you're just talking to them about their pain points, basically.
Pain points.
It's called
what are your challenges?
Solutions-based selling. You're not selling the products that you do and the design.
That's right.
You're selling what the answer. I'll give you an example. I closed a $300,000 engagement for consulting for a large company. The amount was abstract. It was based on a percentage of their problem. How many people are leaving the company, and you have to retrain. What are their salaries in aggregate? And if you were to pay 10% of the aggregate of those salaries to us to ensure that that doesn't happen in the future, would it be worth it? And I'm horrible at math, and they're like, fuck yeah, it's worth to pay $300,000 to make sure that we save the $2-3 million down the line, right? So it's really relatively moving away from here's how many hours my design services or visual services are to understanding the problem, telling them you're going to solve the problem, and asking them how much is it worth to you to solve that, and are you willing to share that profit with me? Totally different selling style than what we're used to and that was in all the handbooks, etc.
So here's a little thing that you may not have figured out, or maybe you have, is we used to do all this work for free. Now I just charge the clients, and actually the ads come out, the ideas come out, all these things come out, and I get to charge for it. And that's where I find value.
Read the manifesto. I'm not a graphic designer.
Hey, that's later. Action item.
Partner. I'm here to help you. I'm sitting.
Let's get another question in.
Questions.
Right there.
A lot of clients aren't very forthcoming with information that you need to do a project correctly.
It's a very good point.
How do you engage with them to get?
Yeah. Tell us your name and what you do.
Hi, I'm Jeff. My name's Jeff, and I'm a graphic designer. And
Hi, Jeff.
So,
It's like an AA meeting.
I know. So I was wondering, how do you engage with clients that don't want to answer questions, just want to get the project done, and without being annoying? Because we need the answers to, do the.
I think you have to refuse to do it. You got to
don't
just
do it.
stop.
You say no.
You got to just stop. I know that sounds totally flippant, especially if
but
you're
no,
thinking
but let's answer the question relative to where it isn't an issue of they have a lack of willingness, but that they don't have the language or the experience, especially with clients that are new and entrepreneurs. It's not that they're totally being dicks, it's that they're actually not necessarily comfortable with sharing it. They might be more technical. They might be less talkative. So there's a book that you should read. It's called The Coaching Revolution by David Logan, who's a USC professor in the communications department. And it is a brilliant book on simply how to coach. I read that book with one of my first engagements when I started my agency, and I was like, woo, I can really figure out the people's problems. The problem is that I started coaching my client, and she quit. So we lost the account. She emailed me 6 months later saying, Jose, you changed my life. Oh, it's so amazing. I'm like, great, I changed her life and I lost a $150,000 account. But the point is, read that and learn how to ask the questions, how to listen, how to become a coach. Not that you're going to go do coaching for a living, but that you're going to integrate it into your consultative practice as a designer. Brilliant book, easy to read.
Any other questions? We have a couple more minutes, 2 more minutes.
We have about 3 more
minutes. Right
there.
Beyond the design and branding aspect, I'm okay.
No, go ahead, use the mic because I can't hear you. And get up and tell us who your name is.
My name is Richard. I'm a student here, 8th-term trans. I'm just wondering, beyond the design and branding aspect that you present to your clients, do you provide data in the terms of like increased cash flow to help convince them to choose you? And correlation. Then also, who's your competition?
Correlation between performance financially of past work you've done and what they're about to hire you to do. We do, and I have done it in the past. It's not easy because you have to maintain a relationship with your clients past the engagement and ask them for the data, and they'll be less forthcoming in giving you that than not. When you're working for a public corporation, it's easier. When you're working on larger engagements, it's easier. But what I would do in general is look at both of the quantifiable value that you're providing, meaning revenue or saving money, and then the qualitative. Really document the qualitative. Ask the client for the percentages of either increase in revenue in the next year. For an example, we do it to where we can say that we have had our school students or members go from $10,000 projects to $60,000 projects. That's a 400% increase in their billing, how much they're able to bill because of integrating strategy. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So we're tracking that, and we're calling them, and we're asking them, and we're maintaining the relationship. The biggest mistake I made in my design practice for 11 years is not maintaining a long-term relationship with my clients, thinking of them as clients, not as the people that were aligned with who I am. When I realized that, I completely changed, and I can call clients. My final few clients I had in the last few years, they will advocate for what I'm doing. They will go to dinner with me. They really became people that I really like being with. If you don't like your clients, you should not be working for them. That is the worst thing you can do. All right. Hopefully that answered your question. Young lady right here.
I think we'll have time for one more, right?
You're the last question.
So, going from working in... Hello, I'm Dom.
Tell us your name and what do you do?
I'm Dom. I'm a UX designer. I have worked for agencies. I've worked for myself. Currently, I'm working for a enterprise SaaS company. It's pretty awesome.
Which is right on your shirt.
Which is right on my shirt, Cake.
Cake.
I work for Cake.
Awesome.
So my question is, going from Cake, being internal on a product, how do I get quantifiable data when I don't necessarily have access to what our clients are, what clients are bringing in? And how do I transition that to working for myself?
So the big question there is, am I able to take the data from the projects that I've worked and the impact that my work has done for, let's say, Cake and Cake's clients, but I don't have access to that data in order to prove it. First, I don't think you necessarily need the data to prove the value of what you've done for Cake over the last X amount of years. I think it's more qualitative, and the testimonials from your peers, getting them to actually review you on LinkedIn while you're still there without them knowing that you might have an inkling of leaving. Actually, even if you're leaving and asking them, hey, can you review me on LinkedIn? If you looked at my LinkedIn, all my former employers have always reviewed me all the way up to the CEO. So that might be more important. Oh, are they publicly traded? cake? Oh, so you got SEC filings. Again, it's going back to correlating that to your work. So I started at the company where they were at X revenue. 2 years later, they were at X. Certain percentage of what I did helped. 100% what you did. There you go. Take all the credit. Do the Godem style.
That's too bold. And you guys are getting super deep on something here.
But what I'm saying, Dom, is that you don't necessarily need to have the correlation between the data and your efforts, what you did, in order to move forward. But once you start working on your own clients, establishing the relationship from the beginning.
Let me pull the conversation out. You guys got super granular with filings and government. Look, when you're doing this on your own, I have only learned this in the last 6 months, so the products and the results are still a work in progress. I'm showing you work in progress. Like if you went to that website, it's not up because I'm still working. I just presented last Friday.
Well, and to answer his question really quick, when he asked how much was Oli's for you is the ultimate case study that we've been presenting to new clients. So you have to do some of the work to establish yourself as a strategist.
I was going to say that.
Oh, okay, sorry.
I only got a sentence in. This guy's like chopping me off every time. Yeah, basically the first client that you do this for, you're going to have to do it just kind of gratis. And you're going to use that as a case study. And as soon as I do that, I just tell my next client, I'm a strategist. Because I've done it. One person has agreed to do it with me, and that's it.
Bam!
That's all it takes.
By the power vested in me in the state of California.
It really is. Strategist. That's all it is. I'm no longer blind, right? So now we have 3 such clients that we're working directly with, and this is an amazing feeling for me because I want to take this conversation back to where we started. I'm a graphic designer. I got into motion design. I've been doing this for 18 years. For the most part of my life, I've worked for ad agencies. I get a brief, right or wrong, that's the script I execute against. This is the first time where I can control the brief. And I do it with the client because I'm a control freak, right? That's what I'm going to do. And now I can become the agency. And for a long time, I've always looked from the other side of the fence and thought to myself, I don't know how to do any of those things. I can't write copy. English is my second language. I studied graphic design. I mean, what do we know about anything? We know how to use fonts and colors, right? And this is
I'm offended by that, but that's okay. I'm a pretty smart guy.
Yes. So this has given me a tool to engage in a way that I never thought possible. So start using it, okay?
Yeah.
We have to wrap up.
That's a really great story. And then what I heard basically is that your autonomy is now at its fullest because you have control over what you're doing with your clients versus being subject to the agencies. So what
action items?
So what actions you can take? A lot of you are going to be asking, well, this is great. That was kind of like, how am I going to do this for myself? So what we're going to ask you guys to do is to take some actions. Go home. Define who your brand is. Define who your brand is. You could search on Google Jose Caballer Personal Core, and you'll see mine. And keep in mind, what I'm saying is you, not your business, not your company. Here's why. You are the core of your business. You are your business if you're a freelancer, if you're an individual. Even if you build a company, the company will reflect you and be created in your image. So who do you start with first? You. Then you act, behave, and manifest. I want you guys to tweet me and to let me know if today, in this workshop, I was who was defined in that document. And by the way, I didn't do it by myself. I had somebody reflect it and tell me who they thought I was to them. So you are not doing it by yourself. You're going to do this with a partner. You're going to do this with a friend. You're going to do this with a spouse. Whoever you're going to do it with somebody else. Whoever you feel comfortable with. Oops, going back. Read I Am Not a Graphic Designer. We'll have a link for that on LinkedIn. And connect with Chris and I on LinkedIn. That's really important. And watch our YouTube channel. All these topics on confidence, on listening, on sales, on closing, on asking for a sale. Everything you need in order to do the transition from where you are today to where you're going in the future is available. We have it. We've done it for you.
So if you have a QR reader, we made it really easy so you don't have to remember any of this stuff. Now, I know it's not big in America, but it's big in Asia. If you have a QR code reader, you just whip it up or take a picture of this. I don't know if that works, but you can grab this. And so the personal branding article I wrote, it should get you. I did part 1 of 3. I need to do part 2 of 3 and all that stuff.
But it's good.
It'll get you started, right?
Yeah.
So you guys good with that? And then as soon as we're done, we're going to advance.
Let me know when you guys are ready.
So while you guys are doing that, the tip here is to run a successful meeting, everybody has to have clear action items. Otherwise, you go away, everything dissipates, all the energy is gone. So that's why we have action items for you.
I'm not a graphic designer. Here's the article. Here's the QR code. And to add to what he said, I've been on boards of nonprofits with creative people. I've collaborated with creative people. There's always a hesitancy to take leadership. There's always a hesitancy to be that guy, to be the person who's in control, to say something, to be powerful. We as creative people need to stop, not the collaborate and listen part, but understand that power lies not in the skills and the tools of the 20th century that we were given, meaning color, fonts, kerning, but in who we are as a person and in our ability to align the people around us forward. So it's leadership. Designers as leaders. And if you talk to Lauren, if you have dinner with him, if you talk about what Art Center is attempting to do in its curriculum, is to shift us from 20th century thinking of designers as makers of things for industry, and designers as leaders of making the future. Hand of applause on that one right there. She's nodding to that one.
All right.
And look at those two handsome guys right there. Look at that. Jesus. So that's the QR code for our YouTube channel, and we talk about this every week at Blind Studios. And first of all, I want to say thank you to you, Chris, and here's our Twitters. The Twitters is the most important way of getting. I want to say thank you, Chris, for doing this with me. This is the first time we've done a public presentation together. So a hand of applause for that.